by holding down the handbrake button, head for the airstrip by passing in between these rocks right here, and park your boat right next to the beach. Walk in with your gun, which will automatically have a silencer equipped since you're doing a stealthy approach. Take out this camera, these two guards, and then lastly, this guard patrolling near the hangar. Check the ground level for loot, then take the forklift to check the upper levels. For loot, camera, gun, have your intent, and for the aggressor loadout you chose. Hard left with your long, and park your boat right next to the beach. Walk in with your gun, these two guards patrolling near the hangar. Check the ground level for loot, and take out this guard who's patrolling the dirt road. Climb over the wall, destroy this camera, kill this guard with a headshot, and you'll find the rest of your secondary loot in this shed right here. And if you can't, then these two guards, and then lastly, this guard patrolling near the hangar. Check the ground level for loot, then take the forklift to check the upper levels. If you can't get a full loot bag in here, simply what you need to do is run across daytime down the loot type, and if you follow this path, you will never vehicle. Then go with the main docks as your infiltration point, and for the compound entry, we're gonna take the drainage gate, as that's what we scouted earlier in the gather intel mission. Time of day should be daytime for better visibility, and for weapons, you'll obviously have your aggressor loadout you chose. Start the finale with all these options selected, and as soon as the loading cutscene ends, pull a hard left with your long fin by holding down the handbrake button, head for the airstrip by passing in between these rocks right here, and park your boat right next to the beach. Walk in with your gun, which will automatically have a silencer equipped since you're doing a stealthy approach. Take out this camera, these two guards, and take out this guard who's patrolling the dirt road. Climb over right here. First, climb up these steps, the rebreather equipped. Take your loot back around the island until you arrive at El Rubio's compound. Dive in with a rebreather equipped and start cutting through those secondary loot in this.
GPS trace acquired. I have your location. Once you are inside the compound, I will be able to see you on CCTV. So, we are here again. I wonder what Mr. Rubio has in store for us this time. Perhaps he has left the Panther in charge, huh? Whatever it is, we will be ready. Now, watch out for patrol boats on the surface. It is a short swim from your current position. And don't worry, I found a head for your usual parking space, huh?
Shed right here. Alright, go with the main docks as your infiltration point, and for the compound entry, we're gonna take the drainage gate, as that's what we scouted earlier in
Year-old, LOL. I'm tall, what about you? She says, I want to see your pics, okay? And to string the scammer along, I needed to find some pictures of a young kid that looks around the age of 16. And this isn't hard to do because Instagram is full of people that I can easily catfish, just like the scammers do every day. This ought to be another wake-up call to parents and young people to lock down your social media and make it private. But I end up making one with AI and then I send it. And Michelle says, "Wow, you're so handsome. What do you do for fun?" I say sports, I play lacrosse. She says, "Oh nice, I love swimming." And everything is going pleasant. But the next day, it takes a turn for the crazy. She says, "I'm bored and horny. Can we exchange nude pics?" No saving and no screenshot. Deal or no deal.
I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
I said, "Seriously?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I still don't know what you look like." And then come the pictures. She says, "Deal or no deal?" I said, "What do you want to see?" She says, "Your And then she sends a very illicit picture of herself. And this makes me very uncomfortable. I'm a married guy with kids, and these pictures are of some random girl who has no idea this is even happening. But I can't lose my cover, so I act excited. She says, "Show me," and tells me to go to the bathroom and take pics of my own. Now, this is going to be very hard to show you on YouTube without destroying my channel, but I went and I found a pretty lewd picture that I could send him. And these aren't hard to find. There's plenty of adult sites where people willingly upload their stuff. But then I carefully cut out the face from the Olafir profile picture and I placed it directly on the stranger's private. And before I send it, I say, "You said no screenshots." "Yeah, sure, no screenshot." I said, "I'm serious." "Yes, babe, no screenshot." And then I sent it. And his response was surprising. He said, "Wow, so huge. Can you hold it and take a snap?" Did he even look closely? So I cropped tight into his face and I sent it again. He said, "Why covering it? Who's this?" And I said, "You?" He said, "Haha, that's never me. That editing fool. This is high time I expose you." And then he makes a guess that I'm the same guy as Dan who tried to bait him just a few days ago, and he threatens to release all the images that Dan sent. So now I'm thinking that maybe I've got the wrong guy. Maybe it was just happenstance that this Olafir22 account followed Dan's bait profile. But he thinks he has the upper hand because he has Dan's pictures. He says pay or post now, and then he starts counting down like he's actually gonna send out my photos. And you can see how frightening this would be to a young person who's actually in this predicament. So I continue to play along as a scared victim saying, "Oh, please don't." He then threatens to send the pics to the FBI and all of Dan's social media followers. He even makes this strange graphic like it's going to be all over the news. Very strange. So I do what Dan did and I video call him so I can try to get a better picture of his face. But this time he's not answering. But then suddenly, Dan messages me. He said, "OMG bro, I have proof he was logged into Olafir." I thought, oh really? So he shows me another video where he screen recorded his call with the scammer. Once again he's being cocky and he's showing off the photos he's collected. But as he's swiping through his apps, he accidentally opens Instagram where he's logged into his personal account, Olafir22.
I deal with these guys a lot, and they're so brazen. They can be real idiots. Like, if they create a fake profile, they'll use their own profile to friend it. And it crossed my mind, would he be that stupid? And I think, yeah, I think he was.
So this is our scammer, and he's just bluffing. And he thinks that he has my photos, but I actually have his. So I decide to just start screwing with him. I say, "Will you also send them to my girlfriend? I think she'll like to see them too. I can give you her number. Do you want a different angle? Let me take a better one." And then I start sending him pictures from his video. But he's not responding. Where did our tough guy go? I say, "Where's this blanket from? I like it." And then I play his own trick and I create a news chyron with his face saying Nigerian scammer tries to extort teen boys. I even link an article from a year ago where 2 Nigerian teens were extradited to the United States for the very same thing. I was gonna make sure to scare this guy stupid. Finally he responded, "Hey guy." And I said, "Hey, why do you do this? Are you there? Hey guy. Hey." And that was it. He either blocked me or disconnected his number from the account. And when I went back to his Olafir22 Instagram account, it was no longer found.
It's gone.
At this stage, you've already scouted everything that we need for the final approach, so go ahead and open up your pause menu, go to online, and select the new invite-only lobby to teleport right back. For this one, we're just call in your personal truck right outside the police station and drive away with the boat, but since you're a beginner and this is a beginner's guide, you probably don't have a vehicle cargo warehouse or the Phantom Wedge, so here's what you can do instead. Fly towards the police station in your Sparrow helicopter, and as you get closer, Pavel will text you 2 different GPS coordinates, each containing a truck. The one with 2 trucks on it, I don't actually recommend using that one. Instead, go for the icon on your map with just 1 truck, because that's where you'll find a free Phantom Wedge, and this thing is just so good at tossing traffic and police cars out of your way that it will make your drive back to the safe house a trivial matter. Make sure to pull out a sniper and deal with this heavy machine gunner first, otherwise he's probably going to ruin your day. Then clear out the remaining thugs and drive over to the police station in your pointy-nose semi-truck. Once you get there, just pause for a second, pull up your map, and mark this exact location on Elysian Island right here. This will save you from having to sit through Pavel's yapping as you drive out of the station with your truck. Now, you've got 2 options here. Either you run in, kill all the cops, and blow yourself up to remove your wanted level, or you drive in, reverse into the boat, and drive away to the docks where you'll then park right outside this warehouse and blow yourself up to remove your wanted level. Either option works, but I found that just hooking up the truck to the long fin and hauling cheeks to the docks is the faster of the 2 methods, since you skip the entire firefight with the police. And if you do it this way, you can complete the whole vehicle prep start to finish in just 5 minutes. After securing my approach vehicle, I next like to do unmarked weapons with the aggressor loadout, since it has the assault truck. The one with 2 trucks on it, I don't actually recommend using that one. Instead, go for the icon on your map with just 1 truck, because that's where you'll find a free Phantom Wedge, and this thing is just so good at tossing traffic and police cars out of your way that it will make your drive back to the safe house a trivial matter. Make sure to pull out a sniper and deal with this heavy machine gunner first, otherwise he's probably going to ruin your day. Then clear out the remaining thugs and drive over to the... Now, you could spend $2.5 million on your personal Phantom Wedge, and it will make this mission a whole lot faster, since you can just call in your personal truck right outside the police station and drive away with the boat, but since you're a beginner and this is a beginner's guide, you probably don't have a vehicle cargo warehouse or the Phantom Wedge, so here's what you can do instead. Fly towards the police station in your Sparrow helicopter, and as you get closer, Pavel will text you 2 different GPS coordinates, each containing a truck. The one with 2 trucks on it, I don't actually recommend using that one. Instead, go for the icon on your map with just 1 truck, because that's where you'll find a free Phantom Wedge, and this thing is just so good at tossing traffic and police cars out of your way that it will make your drive back to the safe house a trivial matter. Make sure to pull out a sniper and deal with this heavy machine gunner first, otherwise he's probably going to ruin your day. Then clear out the remaining thugs and drive over to the police station in your pointy-nose semi-truck. Once you get there,
And that felt pretty good to confront him, and I really hope it rattled him and that he thinks twice before trying this scam again. Because as long as he's trying to blackmail teens and share their photos, I have no reservations about doing the same with him. So knock this crap off, scammers, because nobody wins when it comes to sextortion. Sorry if this video made any of you uncomfortable. I know it did for me, but this is one scam that we need to keep talking about until we stop seeing it. So keep yourself safe, especially you, my young friends, and I'll catch you in the next video. So this story is just wild. The scammer reached out to me, and that got me in touch with like 3 other scammers who all started fighting over me. This all began with an email that I received telling me that I could become a Walgreens and CVS secret shopper that paid $500 on each assignment. They gave me a form to fill out, and it said that they'll send me the funds you need for evaluation, including your commission. Basically, I get paid $500 to go shopping at Walgreens and then report back on my experience. So I entered my information and hit submit. And it was not long after that I got this text message. Good morning, Mr. Benjamin Dover. I got your information from Mystery Shopper and how you are ready for this. And I thought, this is going to be great. I said, hi. He said, how are you doing today? I said, fine, how are you? He said, good also, sir. And sir, hope you went through the details you clicked because you would be getting a check to your home address and hope we can trust you on this job. And I thought, this guy doesn't sound very professional to be working for Walgreens. So I asked, what is your name? He said, Mr. Robert. And I said, and you work for Walgreens? He said, I'm an agent at all Walgreens stores. Hope you're ready for this job and no fishy on this. All right, he has me convinced, and there will be no fishy on this from me. So he tells me that the check is in the mail, but I know exactly what he's gonna do because I've seen this scam way too many times before. I'm gonna get a check for like $1,000. He's gonna tell me to deposit that check in my bank and keep $500 for myself, but use the other $500 to spend at Walgreens. He's then going to tell me to buy $500 worth of gift cards and send him the codes that he'll redeem for Bitcoin. And I will think that I just made the easiest $500 ever but it won't take long for my bank to realize that the check was fake and leave me on the hook for the $1,000 that I just withdrew. This is why you always wait for the checks to clear before you withdraw the cash. And I want to see how long I can string him along for, but before the check even arrives, he texts me saying, "Good morning, dear." And he goes on to say that he has a simple job for me before the check comes and I could make 10% of whatever comes in. And I'm like, what is it? He asks, okay, do you have Zelle on your Wells Fargo? And I said, yes. And he's like, okay, do you have Cash App that buys Bitcoin on Cash App? I say, you want me to buy Bitcoin with Cash App? Yes, and can you do that? He asks for screenshots that I have Bitcoin enabled on my Cash App, and this gets him very excited. He says, wow, that means you can buy and send, and hope I can trust you, sir. You very sure and hope you won't run away with money. And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, some customers will be sending money to your Zelle, and once you get the payment, let me know. Then you would take 10% from it, and once you do that, the remaining balance was sent to company wallet that you would send the Bitcoin to. Okay, this is when I realized exactly what he's trying to do. He's out there scamming other people, and he wants them to send Cash App payments to me. Now, why is he doing all that? Well, because if this guy wants to cover his tracks, or if he's outside the country, he needs someone to launder the money for him and convert it to Bitcoin. Basically, he wants me to be his money mule. I said, what are the customers paying for? He says equipment for housing and interior design. So he's running a completely different scam. He's going to tell these victims to send money to me, who he will tell them is the company accountant or something. Then I'll keep 10% as an incentive to keep doing it and send the rest in Bitcoin to Mr. Robert. This is one way that scammers recruit their cash mules, and it shows you that a lot of them don't even realize what they're doing. Now, I actually don't have a Zelle account, and I'm in no hurry to set one up and get a visit from the FBI, but I want to see how far I can go. So I give him an email address and a phone number that I say is for my Zelle account. And he won't know it's fake until someone tries to send something there. Then he tells me to be active in case a customer is about to send a payment. So the next day he says good morning and tells me that my check is coming. And I say, oh good, will I be getting payments from customers soon? He says the company are scared that since you are a new worker, hope they can trust in you. Okay, so this is a big deal. I would be playing a significant role in his scam operation, and that's why he needs to trust me. So I say, what can I do to prove myself? He said, can you send your identification card front and back, please, to show them that you are real and not an asshole, because for me, I believe you so much. So now I need to make an identification card for Ben Dover, which is fairly easy to do. And instead of just sending the picture through text, I email it via Google Drive. But I hide a redirect link in the email that will track his IP address when he clicks on it, which he does, and it tells me that he's in. Well, I guess my ID card was convincing enough, because then he contacted me on WhatsApp, which tells me that I was now in his inner circle. I even got a phone call.
What do you mean?
I go to your front page of the ID card. You know, I told you to find some bag, so you already set the front.
Oh, you want the back too?
Yeah, I want the bag too.
Okay, I'll send it.
So I get him the backside, and he says, hope you are ready for this job and also the check, sir. But this was going to be very interesting. He could make a couple $100 off of the check scam, but he could make a couple $1,000s by using me as his money mule. Was he going to go with the bird in the hand or the two in the bush? Another day goes by and he says, good morning. And sir, hope your Zelle is cool, and once you get payment on it, now you would receive it and let me know so I can tell you what you would do. So has he even sent the check, or did he decide to skip it and use me as his mule? I asked, do you know when my check is coming? I'm ready to start working. He said the company said this week, but you would get other jobs before it comes, okay. Well, I guess that means I'm going to be his mule. But then he makes another proposal. He says, sir, can I ask you something? I say, what is it? Sir, do you know about ID.me? Okay, yes, I know about ID.me. This is a site that basically allows you to create an online identity so you can shop at various websites and even file your taxes at irs.gov. It's a convenient way to provide proof of your legal identity online, because there's a big payment coming in worth millions, but I won't be able to get it without ID.me. But that's crap. This guy just wants to see how much more he can get out of me by stealing my identity. Plan A was to get me to go secret shopping and scam me out of a couple $100. Plan B is to turn me into a cash mule, but Plan C is to trick me into handing over my virtual identity through ID.me so he can apply for unemployment benefits in my name, which is how scammers made off with $200 billion during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I even tried setting up an ID.me for Ben Dover by uploading my fake ID and letting it scan my face, but it's smart enough to realize that these are fake, and it suspended my account. So Plan C is just not going to work. But plan B is because Robert says, sir, did you get any payment on Zelle now? Okay, so apparently he's found a victim and convinced them to send money to my fake Zelle. And of course I didn't get any money because the phone number and the email address that I gave him aren't associated with the Zelle account. But if I could get the number of the person he's trying to scam, I could possibly warn them. So I said, do you know who made the payment? And he said, sending you all details in a few. And as I'm waiting, I get a text message from a random 725 number saying, hello, are you there? Then he pastes a Bitcoin address. He says, it's me, and just borrow this phone. I want you to check your Zelle. Someone sent some money in there, so I want to know maybe you have received it yet, and let me know the total amount you got in there. I suppose text you by my phone, but I don't know why it's keep hanging and messing up. Maybe it's just because it fall from my hand, so I want you to check it and send all the money to this Bitcoin wallet. What in the crap? I said, please send a screenshot of the Zelle payment they did. And he says, don't you receive the money yet? I said, my bank makes me add the person first. I need their phone. He said, they don't send it yet, okay? Then he goes on to say, I need $200 now. Okay, what's
Just pause for a second, pull up your map, and mark the route that I'm about to show because it's easily repeatable with a high level of consistency, no matter the loot type, and if you follow this path, you will never get caught and you'll never fail a single fingerprint hack. First, pick the Longfin as your approach vehicle, then go with the main docks as your infiltration point, and for the compound entry, we're gonna take the drainage gate, as that's what we scouted earlier in the gather intel mission. Time of day should be daytime for better visibility, and for weapons, you'll obviously have your aggressor loadout you chose. Start the finale with all these options selected, and as soon as the loading cutscene ends, pull a hard left with your Longfin by holding down the handbrake button, and as soon as you'll
Good work, Charlie. Welcome back again. I have been thinking, perhaps Mr. Rubio thinks we are finished with him. He tells himself we would have to be crazy to keep coming back, but he does not appreciate Russian military strategy. We make no distinction between madness and genius, huh? Okay, come, let us give him another lesson. Not long now till landfall.
right next to the beacon. Walk in with your gun, which will automatically have a silencer equipped since you're doing a stealthy approach. Take out this camera, these two guards,
Remember, cameras everywhere. Almost like Mr. Rubio feels a little paranoid sometimes.
then take the upper levels and take out this guard who's patrolling the dirt road, climb.
Thanks for the assist, Charlie. Well,
I think I speak for most of us, right, that we don't want oppressors in GTA 6. I had a comment tell me that the Oppressor Mark II is required in GTA Online because it makes it easier to get around the map. Why not just use a helicopter or a jet? We don't need futuristic vehicles. And what do you think this person replied? That requires multiple inputs. With the Oppressor Mark II, I can fly across the map and scroll YouTube shorts while I'm flying.
Holy shit, that's the most brain-rot thing I've ever heard in relation to this game.
You know, if I said that the point of Grand Theft Auto Online was to sell shark cards, that would probably be about as hot of a take as this here White Claw I took out of my fridge. But I don't think we really appreciate the weight of those words. See, players are like running water. Generally, the greatest volume will follow the path of least resistance. Most of game development is basically just building a pipeline to direct all of your players to the point of your game. And usually, the point is just fun. Once you spend that $60, maybe you buy some cosmetics, maybe you buy a DLC, but ultimately, the time value you get out of that money is completely up to you, champ. A good game will give you limitless hours of game time. But the problem is that when a player gets something they're happy with, that decreases the chance they're going to buy something new. If the point of your game is fun, congratulations, you accomplished your goal. But if the point of your game is profit, then that fun is an obstacle. So, when you look at this here flying motorcycle, now valued at around $100 US, not including the upgrades that are basically mandatory, this here mosquito that buzzes around every lobby and sucks all the fun out. Well, if you're thinking that the Oppressor Mark II was some accident, some oversight by this multi-billion-dollar company left in the game for 3/4 of a decade now, well, when you say it out loud, it sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? My name is Mr. Cuckler. My background in game development consists of this White Claw I'm drinking and watching the old Bungie Vidocs from back in the day. I'm coming up on 4,000 hours in this game, and I've spent maybe 10 of those in a GTA Online that didn't have the Oppressor Mark II. And before the hype wave of GTA 6 completely washes away all of the transgressions and scams that Rockstar have pulled against their player base, I feel uniquely qualified to be the one today that really breaks down what's going on with the flying motorcycle that ruined GTA Online. The broomstick, the brain rot bike, the poster child of GTA Online, and the mosquito. The Oppressor Mark II was never an accident. You know, I really fucks with this planet that we live on. I think it's beautiful because everything seems to serve a beautiful purpose. We've got orcas, which kill evil things like dolphins and leopard seals. We've got cats, which take care of pets and make great companions. And we've got fighter jets, in case the aliens ever decide to test who was made in God's image. Generally speaking, we live in a perfect symbiotic ecosystem where everything seems to make sense. That is, until you are bitten by a mosquito. Then that all kind of falls apart because you have to wonder, why the fuck was this thing created? What role does it serve to annoyingly buzz around and suck the life out of everything around it and just generally make life less pleasant?
The level of agony.
$1 million question right there, and let me raise you an $8 million question. what role does the Oppressor Mark II fill in GTA Online? See, I can't really give you a very detailed breakdown of the Oppressor Mark II as a functional vehicle, because flying bike that shoots missiles is basically the long and short of it, and that's kind of half the problem. There is no character to this vehicle. There is nothing interesting about it. It flies, but you don't have to stabilize it like a plane. You don't exactly feel like you're soaring. Meanwhile, you can park it and call it in as conveniently as a car, but you don't have to deal with traffic. It's literally just point in a direction and hold down the throttle and listen to that god-awful whining of the engine as you get there. Meanwhile, the combat is as simple as, if there's enemies, you point in a direction, hold down the missiles, and it generally does most of the work for you. If a game is supposed to be fun, why would you add something that removes all of the fun parts? The driving part, the flying part, and the shooting part, those are the fun parts of GTA Online. What use is there in a vehicle that does all of that for you? Well, clearly, my friend, you have never tried grinding in GTA Online, because that shit is so ass. It is unenjoyable because it's Rockstar's core game design, where the game basically plays itself. The game aims for you, it's called auto-aim. The mission design is follow the line and follow the exact prompts of what you're told to do. There's no critical thinking involved. And that is because Rockstar games as a whole are story games. So having a game design where the game just plays itself for you lets you focus on the story. But if there is a story to the online mission you're doing, you forget about it the 50th fucking time you have to do it just to afford a sports car. The core design of go to a place, kill the enemies, pick up a thing, go back to your property, doing that 10, 100, 1,000 times to buy all the things you want in GTA, it's not an enjoyable process, and there's very little you can do to make it more fun for yourself. You could try hard and grinding, but at the end of the day, you're just a rat running faster in a maze. But what you can do is make it a little more pleasant, make it comfortable. If the mission design does all the critical thinking for you, then a vehicle that does all the critical thinking for you fits into that design like a key into a keyhole. Enter the Oppressor Mark II. Sure, if fun is what you're after, reducing all movement in combat to hold the throttle and hold the missile button at the right time isn't exactly what you're looking for. But if you just want that process to be so quick and easy and comfortable that you can whip out Family Guy funny moments with your offhand and watch them while you make money, well, the Oppressor Mark II is your vehicle. Rockstar sold everyone a master key to all.
Climb over the wall. Loot bag in here. Simply what you need to do is run across the airstrip.
Nice run, Charlie.
And take out this guard who's patrolling the dirt road. Climb over the wall. Destroy this camera. Kill this guard with a headshot. And you'll find the rest of your secondary loot in this shed right here. Take your loot back around the island until you arrive at El Rubio's compound, dive in with a rebreather equipped, and start cutting through those steel gates. Then, once you're inside, follow this path that I'm showing once again. First, climb up these stairs, then what you need to do is hug this wall on your right and run straight across the courtyard, pull a left of these palm trees, then another right near these stairs, and climb up. But before you head into the building, and once you're controlling the dirt road, climb over the wall, run across the airstrip, over the wall, destroy the guard who's patrolling the dirt road, climb over the wall, destroy this camera, kill this guard with
Some advice. When dealing with paranoid drug lords, expect CCTV everywhere. must bring bags. More money in bags. Perhaps next time, yes?
Walk this guard patrolling near the loot, then take the forklift guard patrolling near the hangar, check the ground level for loot, then take the forklift to check the upper levels.
We cannot resist coming back, huh? Like child in candy store. Or as we say in Russia, like child breaking into secure compound, huh? By the way, you will always have room in your bag for main objective. I have crafted special compartment for us. It pays to be selective with your looting. If it is too heavy, it will slow you down, perhaps too much.
And take out this guard who's patrolling the dirt road, climb over the wall, destroy this camera, kill this guard with a headshot, and you'll find the rest of your secondary loot in this shed
You know,
right
a
here.
man like Mr. Rubio, he would rather die than abandon his expensive
Take your loot
case.
back
No matter
around the
how many
island
times
until
he
you
is
arrive
robbed.
at El
In
Rubio's
Russia,
compound,
we call
dive in
such
with a
men
rebreather equipped, and start cutting through those steel gates. Then, once you're inside, follow this path that I'm showing once again. First, climb up these stairs, then what you need to do is hug this wall on your right and run straight across the courtyard, pull a left at these palm trees, then another right near these stairs, and climb up. But before you head into the building, wait for this one guard to turn around. Once he's standing there in this little section right there, out of the Juggernaut's line of sight of course, drop him as well. If you take him out before he turns right here, the Juggernaut will spot his dead body and your cover will be broken. So just wait a second for him to go to the side, then take him out. Next, eliminate this guard right here and walk up the stairs until you come across this guy who's heading down from El Rubio's office. Don't shoot him just yet, because if you miss and hit the wall, he'll also alert everyone underneath. So what you need to do instead is walk up close and pistol whip him in the face to knock him out cold. Then open this wall safe for some extra cash and head to the fingerprint scanner. For the fingerprint hack, all you have to do is align the images in each row so they match the top image, and then just scroll right n-1 times where n is the row number. So for example here, I know this is a little bit confusing, but in the first row, you don't have to scroll at all. For row number 2, you scroll to the right once. For row number 3, you scroll to the right twice, and so on. Do the hack, grab your loot, and head back down the stairs in reverse, but instead of opening the small gate, just jump over this fence and wait for this guard to move away. Then run towards the main gate and hit the exit button. Outside, you're going to find a bike waiting for you. So just eliminate this guard, hop on that bike, and drive down this pathway that I'm showing you here. Until you get to the cliffs. Then simply pop a wheelie and get as much airtime as you can before you drop into the water. As As soon as you drop inside, you'll see this triangle of sea mines facing you, and that means that you're on the right path. Just make sure to keep swimming forward until the Escape Cayo Perico text disappears from the bottom of your screen, and you'll have completed your very first Cayo in full stealth.
Excellent. Did I ever tell you about the sewers in my hometown? It was there I first decided to join the Navy. Perhaps it will have the same effect on you. We will see. Off you go.
Then run towards the hop on that bike and drive down this pathway that I'm showing you here.
Well, judging from the lack of terrified screams, I will assume you made it through the uncharted tunnel and into the den of strung-out militiamen. Good. Things are going according to plan, huh? Now, let's see what he has for us in the vault this time.
Acaba de irse. Hace nada estaba preguntando por usted.
You're in the area where Mr. Rubio's personal bodyguards operate. These men will know every soldier under their command. No disguise will fool them. Okay, the fingerprint scanner. Time to break out the tool we borrowed from the head of cybersecurity. Remember, it picks up fragments of previous scans. You just have to cycle through them to match the target print. Do not give up on a locked door. Why not ask a guard nicely for the key? Success! Good. Now, into the elevator. We are almost there. Welcome back! Now, how are your nerves? Steady? You will need them to be if you want to get into that bulletproof display case. Steady nerves and a plasma cutter. You know, once in the Baltic Sea, the submarine was so cold the plasma in my plasma cutter froze. And somehow it's still overheated. Bad news. They have sealed the drainage pipe. You will need to look for another way out of there. Boy, you will have trouble sneaking out with this necklace. It is visible from space, I think. Heads up. Fresh guards inbound. the compound, and judging by the radio chatter, they have no idea they've been hit. Now get off that island. Your chosen extraction point is on your GPS now. Main docks. Go.